I wish that were the case now. I wish I could always play the music from Donkey Kong Country whenever I'm working on something, like as a hold music.
A little motivation for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if somebody calls me up and be like, hey, can I put you on hold for a second? Boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom.
Is there a way for that to be like your ringtone when you call people instead
yeah.
of hearing the dial up? You like?
You know, I remember they did that for a while.
There was something at one time.
Carriers you were able to select like, you know, Vivaldi or something like that.
Yeah. Back in the day, it's probably not. It's weird how they update things and they do away with some of the coolest stuff.
Those things weren't, I guess, as important as I thought they were.
I don't know. Yeah. They didn't ask the right people before they took them off. Yeah.
Yeah. Got to DIY. Oh, baby, you know why. Well, if you got the time, I'm gonna give it a try. But before you start, we got advice for you all. If you got to hammer, then you got to solve. Baby, please, don't look out that wall. Don't look out that wall. Please do not look out that wall. Really bad idea.
All right. So what's going on, man?
Not much. I am here in studio with you once again. And I remembered my camera this time.
Well, you do have a little professional camera over
Yeah,
there.
yeah. It's a fancy Logitech camera.
Yeah.
It's got the little light on it. So I mean, that's our version of on air, you know.
I can see you on my screen. So
Oh, great.
It's kind of crooked.
Yeah, it is a little.
I don't know if you see that.
I know.
Okay.
It is not a professional job.
You have a small angle going on with you.
But I'm here. And it's time for another episode of your favorite podcast, Don't Knock Out That Wall. And I'm Matt.
And I am Brandon.
And we have lots of cool stuff to cover for you today. We're going to talk about ongoing projects. And the thing that's been on my mind is DIY in other countries, because we have so many Canadian listeners that I feel like we need to really reach out to them individually, right? You know,
one by one.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I wanted to show a clip from my favorite game show that they have in Canada that was on Netflix for a very short time.
Mm-hmm.
And it sort of inspired me, right? So I wanted to share it with everybody.
Yeah, and just a heads up, everybody. So used to be this was only an audio only podcast, and last week we started a video portion of it. Yeah. So I guess if anybody's used to listening to it, they can now see us face to face and see this video that you're playing. Yeah. So you can now watch us.
We'll walk through it just in case you can't see it and there'll be audio. But here's the funny thing. Just came to me a few minutes ago. It costs money to upload an audio podcast. But if you want to upload a video of anything you want onto YouTube, totally free.
Interesting.
Isn't that weird?
I wonder why.
Maybe.
I guess because they know they're going to get all the clicks for videos.
Yeah.
Nobody wants audio. And that's true because, there's a lot of songs out there that are like audio only, but it's technically a video. Like there's motion in it. So I wonder if that's why they do it that way instead of just a still photo.
So this is a clip from a game show that was on Netflix. It's called Canada's Worst Handyman. And this particular guy, his name is Tex. You're going to see. So basically what they do is all of the loved ones of these contestants, and I put the word loved ones in quotes, Because if you watch it, you should watch the show. It looks like they have all 6 seasons on YouTube, and some of the people hate each other so much. It's like it's kind of difficult to watch because how much they yell at each other.
Really?
Like it's not as Canadian as I thought it was.
Oh.
In that aspect, I was just like, I thought that Canadians were nice even to each other.
No, I think they have a dry humor
Okay.
jerkness to them.
Well,
I think they're very, I don't know, they're like very sweet, but they're also jerks to each other.
okay.
I had a Canadian explain how they work.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember exactly what he said, but he was like, "Yeah, we're going to be sarcastic assholes to you, but you know, we'll give you anything that we can."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tara thinks I'm Canada's worst handyman.
Tex and Tara's home in Nova Scotia has 2 stories, 3 animals, and countless unfinished projects.
And as you can tell, there's a little bit of breeze coming up through there. And I just took this fancy smancy tile that you see here, and we just set that down on there like that, and put that back like that, and unbeknownst to anybody else, nobody knows it's there.
Texas handyman motto is definitely get her done.
Get her done.
So this is DIY at its finest, right? But this guy just uses whatever he can to fix a problem. But in this instance, it doesn't matter what it is. So
This is the type of guy that we're trying to help.
yes,
This is the reason why we're here.
But this right here coming up, this is the piece de la resistance. This is the image that comes in my mind every time we say, "Don't knock out that wall."
However, Tex never gets anything really done. By that I mean he never finishes.
This is our bedroom. This is the most completed room that I have done.
When Tex says this is the most completed room, he's including the bathroom.
Installed the awesome shower. I ran out of gyprock. Gyprock's really not the stuff to have in your shower.
When it comes to trying new handiwork,
I have electrocuted myself a few times.
Tex is fearless.
My first stab at the electrical handyman work was this gizmo box here. I wired this into here. I wouldn't want to touch those. Those are pretty live.
We just got accident insurance on him actually, so.
There was a wall in my living room I took out because I thought it would circulate the heat better. And I didn't know that it was a load-bearing wall. And after a few days of the ceiling starting to sag, I incorporated this nice piece of hardwood I found out back.
Load-bearing wall should not be in quotes.
Yeah, load-bearing wall.
Never do that. Load-bearing wall.
Yeah, that was definitely an eye-opener for me because I didn't realize my experience with DIY and home improvement was minimal at that time, right? And so I didn't realize that was an issue.
Yeah.
You know, removing a wall, like, I guess depending on the wall, it's not going to immediately fall through, right? But like he said, it starts to sag after a while.
Yeah.
Because of the weight that it's loading.
You know, it's funny because on pretty much every show that the remodel shows that are out there, all of them knock out walls.
Uh-huh.
So I can see why people are wanting to knock out walls.
Mm-hmm.
I guess what now I'm like trying to think of is why on a commercial when people just like it's a car commercial and it flies around corners
Mm-hmm.
drifting or whatever, they've got that little "this is on a closed course, do not attempt." Like, why don't they have this on all these remodel shows?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Every time they knock out a wall, this is a load-bearing wall. We've done this with professionals.
Yeah.
Don't do this.
That is important. They leave that out.
They do leave that out.
I had not thought about that. Usually that's something like, say we watch that show Alone, they throw that in at the very beginning, right? To, I guess, get it out. Have you ever watched that show?
No, I haven't.
That is kind of a DIY thing, but it's like they drop you in the middle of the wilderness alone,
Mm-hmm.
and you're supposed to survive longer than everyone else, right?
That's a horrible show.
It's pretty harrowing because I mean, like all the ones that I've seen have been in Canada.
Uh-huh.
So like the first two were in British Columbia, and so these people have to build a shelter, find food, and stay warm for as long as possible. And the first guy stayed like 53 days. Now you're not 100% alone. You are alone in that you can't be helped, but because of legal reasons, they have to come and check on you like once a week.
Okay, so it's not like a group of people are just released and whoever lives at the end is the winner.
Yeah.
That is how it is?
Well, that is how it is. But they do, but because of legal reasons, they don't let you, you know.
They can't show you
Yeah.
the people that die.
Like you have to film the whole thing yourself alone. Like 90% of the time you are alone, but they have like a medical team that comes in and checks on you. Like there's this one episode where this lady actually had to forfeit because she had frostbite.
Yeah.
And they couldn't let her stay. Right.
Okay, well good. I'm glad that they've got their gosh.
Anyway,
Anyway.
I got off tangent a little bit, but what you're saying is they should even stop in the middle of the scene, like right before that sledgehammer hits the wall. You'd be like, record scratch, ladies and gentlemen, these are trained professionals.
Yes.
And this is a load-bearing wall, and we do this all the time. Do not do this yourself.
I feel like that needs to be with everything that's going on now.
Yeah.
And especially like I don't know. I would like to know if there's a statistic out there.
Yeah.
Of how many walls fell in 2020.
Yeah.
From people being at home and having nothing else to do to knock out their walls.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, hey, honey, spouse, you know what we could do? What's that? We could knock out this wall right here, open up the whole thing, right? Haven't you been saying that dining room is too far away from the living room?
Yep, we need an open concept.
Okay, that's a great idea. I guarantee you that's yeah.
Put them on the statistic.
Yep.
We need it.
Cut to an ambulance or...
Oh my gosh, a wall sagging.
Yeah.
And he found, I mean, it was a pretty straight, it looked like a hefty board that he used to prop up
That's pretty great though.
this wall that he took down. So I'm glad he noticed it and did something about it. Yeah.
I thought that I couldn't remember if there was a scene where they showed how much it sagged before he actually put the board in.
Yeah.
But no.
But no.
But still, it's like, yeah, you gotta watch that show is pretty great actually. Like, I actually was able to glean some knowledge just from watching these people do things horribly. There's this one guy that is totally clueless, and he's like, at one point he's trying to hammer a screw, right? Like, they give them these small tasks where they have to say, one of them was like, build a box, right? And they're unable to do that. Like a sturdy, like 4-sided box that you can stand on, right?
Yeah. Can't even do that.
No.
Hammering in screws.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this guy, he pointed to, you couldn't see it if you're just listening to the show, but there was a junction box. I applaud him for using a junction box when taking 2 wires and hooking them up like they should be. However, they were hanging out of the junction box. Yeah. And the ceiling didn't look like it was more than 7 feet tall, because he could easily reach up there.
He was just,
and he was like, yeah, but you still don't want to touch it. That's a huge fire. Like, that's not safe living in that house. You've got fire hazards all around. You've got walls that are quote unquote load bearing. They're not there anymore.
I'm gonna show you the rest of that clip, because this is just like in all these game shows where they show you they show you the contestants, right? And they introduce you to them.
Mm-hmm.
This is his section, and you get to see what else it looks like whenever, because he tries this next segment. He's trying to do something that his wife, I guess, asked him to do. So here we go.
There, it's off. You know what just happened there? The wire just fell down inside the wall. Ain't that just great?
Tex doesn't own wire strippers. He is wire strippers.
Don't do that, Tex. We don't have dental.
After 47 minutes of trying to create light, Tex grows dark.
Why'd you say you wanted this changed again, Tara?
Actually, I don't quite remember saying I wanted it changed.
Yeah, well, I remember somebody saying, oh, I'd like to have my new light put up.
Yeah, that wasn't me.
I'm losing it here. I don't know anymore. Honestly don't know. There goes my rat down the wall. What a pain in the ass this turned out to be.
So, yeah, that's the end of that. He just gives up, and now there's basically a wire just hanging out of the wall. Just like you said, it's hanging out of junction box. Near a source of water, mind you.
Uh-huh.
So, is this guy dead now? Should we take a poll?
Is that a new poll? That's a horrible poll. I don't think that's a good one.
Did this guy go to the hospital?
There we go. Yeah. Yeah, do a poll like that. How bad did this guy get shocked?
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised he didn't get shocked stripping the wires himself.
With his teeth, yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, so I'm assuming since he was doing that, at least he knew to turn the switch off, right? Because he knew when he was pointing at that junction box what was live and what was not. So he knew that there was electricity flowing. So I'm assuming that he knew to turn it off before he tried whatever he was doing.
Which is the number one thing you should do prior to doing electrical work.
Yes.
Is turn that breaker off.
Right.
Maybe he did do this. Maybe he does know what he's doing.
See,
Is that a stretch?
yeah, it is. the look of frustration on his face is the craziest part, because he's like just really losing his noggin. You know what I mean?
And FYI, if you don't have wire strippers, a proper pair,
Mm-hmm.
you can use a sharp knife
Mm-hmm.
to kind of go around the wire and cut just the insulation.
That's kind of, I
Be
mean,
careful not to cut your thumb, but
right.
or fingers or anything.
I'm sure plenty of electricians do it that way, but they've been doing it for years.
Yeah,
I don't know that for
maybe
sure.
some old school ones.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. An older gentleman with maybe overalls or a pair of pants that doesn't quite fit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the overalls, but doesn't have a shirt on.
Yeah. Like, Mr. Jones, is that the code? Ah, we don't have a code around here.
Yeah. Is it safe? That would be my question before code.
Yeah.
A lot of things. Is it safe? Are you sure this is safe?
I mean, his wife, I guess, is used to it.
Ugh.
Yeah. So anyway, that was Canada's Worst Handyman. So surely there are people who are more capable in the country that you can rely on. They found, I mean, this is only a handful of sampling of the people who actually try to work on their house. And so I'm sure it takes place a lot. I'm sure a lot of people are working on their own projects in Canada and possibly in the United Kingdom, which leads me to the next part of the episode that I want to discuss. So Ladies and gentlemen, we talk about DIY here, and I had a friend of mine recently tell me that, now granted, he's a reputable source. He's been to the United Kingdom. I don't think that he was misleading me in any way, so I'm not trying to throw him under the bus, but here's what happened. My friend Jim told me that he was told at a big box store when he was in the United Kingdom, England, that you're not allowed to work on your own house.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he told me. Now, I wanted to find out why. So I got on the Googles, right? And
Yes.
I started looking that up, and I couldn't find anything that confirmed that. Right? I was looking high and low, and it seemed almost impossible to find. And what I came up with was, instead of looking this up on Google, just because I didn't really, so the thing that I get most too is like, can you work on your home? Can you work in your home? That kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
The main thing that I got because of recent events was COVID regulation.
Like working from
Yeah.
home kind of a
So I mean, they were just kind of like every turn. I'm just like, no, I don't. That's not what I'm
Yeah.
asking, right? So sometimes you have to go around Google and find an actual person to ask.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I did was I looked up what are the big box stores. What is the name of one of the home improvement stores in England?
Mm-hmm.
B&M. It's the name of the store, right?
Okay.
So I looked that up on Google. I looked up the phone number. I found a way to make an international call for free, and I called B&M and talked to a person there. And now I'll play you that phone conversation.
That's awesome.
Thank you for calling B&M. Please listen to the following 3 options. For information about our products, please press 1. To find out where your nearest store is, please press 2. To speak to one of our customer service team, please press 3. Good afternoon, B&M Customer Services. Kate, can I help you?
Yes, I have a question. So I want to work on my house, right? Like do replace some drywall, possibly. Are there any? I'm new, obviously. Are there any rules, like regulations, like do I have to get a permit to do stuff like that, or?
No, not at all.
You don't? Okay.
Feel free to do as much DIY as you want. You don't need any permit.
Okay.
You only need permit if you do extensions, like building extensions, extend the size of your property.
Okay. Yeah, someone told me wrong, and so I thought someone would know if I just called you up. So that's why I did.
Yeah, no, you don't need any permit for that.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
All right. Oh, no problem at all.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to work on your home, according to the lady I talked to at B&M, you can do as much DIY as you want.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Now, I double checked. I mean, obviously, she sounds like she's from England, right? I looked up the corporate address to B&M, Liverpool. That's England. I checked it on Google Maps. It's definitely in England. Have you been to Liverpool?
You did some fact checking.
Yes.
You did some fact checking.
Have you-
I've never been to.
Have you've been to England though, right?
Nope, never been to England.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's the main thing I wanted to share with you is in England you can work on your own home.
Now, have you gone back to your friend and played that for him?
I will.
Yeah.
The next
I would
thing I'm
too,
going to
'cause
do.
I'm trying to figure out like what is he doing inside a big box store like that? Just randomly talking about, because he didn't live there.
Right. Well, he said, so this information, I guess, he didn't ask for the information, it was given to him. So I guess he went in and bought a tool or something like that, and they asked him if he was working on his home or buying it to work on his home, and they said, you can't buy this tool to work because you can't work on your home or something like that.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I feel like this goes deeper than just the service, because now B&M has confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
The lady I talked to in Liverpool, Stacy, I think is her name, what it sounded like, you can do as much DIY as you want. So then I thought, well, maybe Jim has been to another place where we had another data center, and that's why he got them confused.
But could be, because why would they even have those stores if you can't DIY?
Right, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Like, it'd be pointless to be like, I'm just going to go get a screwdriver. They're like,
Yeah.
you can't work on your house.
Didn't I handcuff you?
Yeah. Show me your business license.
Yeah, so there's got to be something more to it than just on the surface there.
How about we fix that? We've been talking about that for a while.
Yeah. This is actually I'm pretty excited about this, that how well things are connected now. I just today in my kitchen called England on the phone and talked to someone, and it was free, and it was, I mean, granted, depending on, because the app I used was the Line app, I think. There are several different kinds. There's like the WhatsApp, and there's a Line app, and a Facebook Messenger, and like Google Hangouts or whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of them are just like contact based. Like we have some friends that we've spoken to that live in Berlin, and we were, looking for them for advice and probably possibly stay with them. So we were using the Line app. But apparently you can also it has stipulations like I could only talk for maybe like 5 minutes for free, and I had to watch an ad first.
Okay.
But still. Yeah.
That's really good.
I know. So it's just like we live in the future. It's really cool.
And like they didn't have to accept your call.
Right, yeah. I did that a lot when I was a kid. I was talking with somebody recently. In fact, it was Jim, because I remember talking about how when I used to call home in the summer, I used to have to call home, collect, and they used to have to accept the call.
Yep.
Right? And there was no like pushing numbers. This is for some of the younger listeners, if anybody knows what call and collect is. It used to be, we didn't have cell phones, we had landlines, and if you wanted to call somebody in California, where I was, from Arkansas, you had to get a huge phone bill, basically. They had to charge you by the minute. Or they had these services called like 1-800-CALL-ATT or 1-800-COLLECT. And they even had commercials, right?
Dial down the center.
Yeah. So, but you would call, and the story I was telling was that my stepdad wasn't enunciating correctly, right? Because they're like, you have a call from, and you're supposed to say your name, right? And then, do you accept the call? Or do you accept charges?
Right.
And you're supposed to say yes, but he would be like, yeah, right? Like, yeah. Just like not the word they're looking for. Like, I'm sorry, say yes or no.
Right.
So, yeah, I didn't have to do any of that. I just called Stacy in Liverpool.
Yeah, back then their voice recognition wasn't as good as it is now.
Yeah.
And you can spout out pretty much anything in any kind of accent and it picks it up.
Yeah. Except for there are still some hurdles that you have to jump through. I have a niece. Her name is Ellison, and I have a cousin. Her name is Allison. Now, if you're trying to dictate to your phone, hey, we need to find where Ellison is, your phone, at least the last time I did it, because I gave up angry.
Yeah.
It's not going to be able to figure it out.
It goes straight to Allison.
Yep. Also, paprika. I had the worst time. I have this text chain saved that I sent to
That's
Ashley,
an odd one.
where I was trying to say, please pick up the paprika, and it was like pepper Cuba or something, or pepper Puerto Rico, or is it like I didn't say that. And so whenever I'm doing dictation, it usually comes through as just me a tirade, like paprika, pepper Puerto Rico. That's not what I said. Can you not hear what I'm saying? And like, this is all dictating to my phone and then sent to my wife.
So she was laughing with this.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Oh wow. But that's awesome that you were able to call over there.
Yeah.
Were you concerned about the time zone differences?
Well, so I looked it up on my phone. First of all, it did say that they are open until 5. And at the time that I was in my kitchen, it was like 10 a.m., so it was close. That's the last time I remember looking at my phone. But the point was, at the time I called, it was about 4 o'clock p.m. London. Wow. Yeah. So I hit it just the right time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Casey.
She was very helpful and 5 stars.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I wasn't totally truthful with her. I didn't really mislead her. I didn't say that but I figured it was evident just by my accent.
Yeah, your accent was not. You weren't there.
Right. Yeah. But I didn't want to be like, I'm on a podcast and you're going to be broadcast across the internet, you know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, shout out and also apologies if you didn't want to be on the internet.
Yeah, is she gonna sue us now?
Yeah. I doubt it.
Live and you learn.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. So,
so we have. So there's a new show to watch in Canada, and you can DIY in England.
You can do it.
Or the UK. The UK, the whole place in England is part of it.
Right.
Now I'm going to be ignorant about.
So
the UK, that's like 2 different islands, right? That encompasses.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to watch a YouTube video there's the island of Ireland, but it's divided into Ireland and Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland is part of the United Kingdom, so it's Northern Ireland, Wales, Scotland, England. That's the United Kingdom. Yeah. Ireland used to be part of the United Kingdom until they decided not to be. And I've oversimplified that, probably offensively to some people. Like, we didn't just decide. It was the English.
Right. Hey, you know what? We're not a history podcast.
Yeah.
We do DIY.
Yeah, well, if you're not sure, look it up on YouTube. They'll tell you all about it. So this video is the next thing I want to talk to you about. You probably know about this, but this is something new to me. So I'm going to just play a few seconds of this. This is a home inspector that's showing off it's a new construction. So in this video, and I will link all the videos in the description below the video of our video, but this particular one is a home inspector going through a new construction, right? I don't know where he is. I can't tell if it's Canadian or not, but he's showing some things that they missed or some things that don't line up to code. And so it goes back to what we had talked about with Matt too, that even if it is a new construction, you still want to have somebody inspect it because they're going to miss some things. And then, actually, this video is pretty. I didn't watch the whole thing, but just at the very beginning, there were a couple of things that were kind of glaring. That I'm just like, why, you know? And it makes me wonder, like, who was in charge of this last bit? Because he's like, they didn't do this, and they should have, because this is going to cause water damage. And so, but it's like a little thing that can compound over time. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, this one in particular is something I didn't know about.
Signs in a home should be bonded. You do have a bonding clamp here, which is in the appropriate location, but you can see here where they left the tape in place, and then they did not clean the paint off. So this bonding clamp will not get good contact with the gas line. So we're going to recommend moving the clamp to an area after cleaning the paint off.
So, had you seen that before, or do you know anything about that? Because this is something that I was trying to figure out myself, is bonding the gas line, basically grounding it. That's what it looks like. Yeah.
And I don't honestly know why they do that, but I do see here that it's got to be metal on metal to really transfer that current.
Does your house have that? Mine doesn't. Unless it's not outside, at least, like this one is.
I haven't looked. I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Let's go look.
Okay. That's the drill.
Oh, looky here.
I'm bonded.
Brandon is bonded.
I'm assuming. Okay, so it looks like it's painted.
Yeah.
So I wonder. if that's getting a good.
So, and this line looks like it goes over this way and then up into.
Do you see this? Hang on, there's two different lines. This one's buried.
Yeah, but it looks like it comes out over here. Or is that a different one?
I don't know.
That's what it looks like anyway, because then it goes up in here into the fuse box. Is that what it? Okay, well, it's in there, I guess. Is this your actual fuse box? Or do you have a different one?
The outside one. No,
Oh, okay.
The other one's in the garage. Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's painted. So I wonder if that's getting a good rail.
See, now if it's, I wonder about that too. Like if something has paint on it, how much does that diminish your connection, right? Because I'm not, because it looks like it's, at least especially if depending on what kind of paint it is, it may not even affect it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we should watch the rest of the video and see.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's that.
Well, the good thing is I didn't have any tape.
Right, yeah.
So
I think that was the issue in, the issue in that one was that there was tape around the actual, there's tape around the actual pipe.
Yeah.
So that would hinder. So basically what I found out from looking it up online is mostly just to keep, just like you ground a receptacle, just so there's no spark, there's no fault.
Yeah. And which makes sense, you don't want sparks on your gas line.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Is this the only thing on this video?
We could watch some more of it. We can watch it because I haven't actually watched.
So you saw there's not a line on yours at all?
No, there's not. And I was wondering if this is outside.
Yeah.
And so, but it might, I wonder if it's the same sort of grandfathered thing, because there's not a ground wire in some of my light fixtures.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe it's sort of a thing like that, where construction before a certain year are grandfathered in.
Right.
So.
Interesting.
West of the house, you should have an outlet for your servicing your mechanical equipment, and you can see right here that the outlet on this particular wall is not even secured in place. Big hole on the other side.
What were these people doing? I'm really confused as to why this is an issue. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm being judgmental, but I mean, you had one job. I don't know, like, maybe I'm overreacting. I just see things like this, and I'm just like, how did they miss that? Unless there was some sort of deadline they had to meet, and they just cut some corners or something.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, there's so many people that come in and out of these jobs, these new builds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think, the ground wire on the gas pipe, maybe it's somebody new or something and they just didn't know.
Yeah.
The electrical box not being in there, I don't know why. That's kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty weird.
Because anytime you even try to, if you plug anything in, it's going to go into the wall. And if you do plug something in and bring it out, you're going to take the wire out of the house with you. Yeah, maybe the brick guys got over there a day early, and the electrician wasn't finished putting everything on the studs or something. I don't know about that one.
Maybe they just forgot.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So yeah, we even mentioned it last week in the video that we were watching. Was a new build, and how he was recommending even going in there in the middle of a new construction build to look at what they were doing.
Yeah,
because they were doing things all kinds of wrong.
Yeah, those brackets, those are pretty weird. All right, let's see what else this guy finds.
Off to another good find while we're outside. If you look here on the HVAC equipment, the outside condenser, the conduit, is not properly attached. So what will eventually happen is the vibration of here could potentially cut into the wiring, which could cause a short, electrical short in that area. You can see it was the same way on both units. Off to the next good find. So we're in the half bath area of the media room. This is an exterior wall right over here. Again, we're new construction, important to have new construction inspected. Using thermal imaging, you see that orange square right there that's missing insulation. This is the third location in the home that we found missing insulation. Last but not least, something to share with you, the reason why you should get a home inspection. This is the gas cooktop right here. It's got a nice exhaust vent, but the exhaust vent was not connected. I removed the cabinetry cover and found that it was not connected.
I'm just picturing their nice little cabinet there just filling up with smoke.
And that's really odd because as a real estate agent, when I go in there, especially new homes and everything like that, like I check to make sure that it gets vented into the attic. You know, that's kind of one of the things that home inspectors look for. And in most of them, they have the cabinet that goes all the way to the attic, and then they have the vent, you know, underneath the cabinet. And I'm like, okay, good. It goes all the way up. I mean, some of them you can't really get into to know. So you just assume. But this guy, I didn't even know this front panel of this cabinet came apart like this guy did.
So I guess it's got, that's where the receptacle is for the fan itself.
So I guess you do have to get in there.
Wow.
Which is convenient.
But
yeah, they completely forgot to connect the vent itself to the pipe that goes into the attic.
So I guess this, I'm not saying that I'm right, but I feel like I'm confident in that there are some times where you're going to have people rushing because of a deadline. And so things like that get overlooked. And it's not because they're negligent, it's just because that happens sometimes.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. And it could be that one guy thinks somebody else is going to do it, or they're like, yeah, that needs to be on the list. And it comes back and the cabinet's covered up or whatever. Whoever put that piece on the cabinet to cover up that line wasn't there should have known. That guy should have been like, you know what? I shouldn't cover this up yet. It looks like there's a pipe missing.
It's probably like, oh, did you tell Rich about the line? Because I put that cabinet there. Did you tell him he needed to? No, did you? I thought you were going to do it. No. Now Rich is
What
dead.
about the other 50 houses?
Yeah.
Fun. Okay.
Yeah. So that was fun. We found out something new about your house that you didn't know, because I didn't know.
Yeah. That is new. So now you've got me worried. I need to reach out to a handy dandy inspector and be like, is this right? Is this good?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. We'll see.
Just have Matt look at it next time he comes over.
He's supposed to come over sometime soon.
Yeah.
To do some electrical work for me.
All right.
Yeah.
Mr. Jack of all trades, inspecting, and he was an electrician first.
He was an electrician before he was an
inspector.
Yeah. So there's some stuff that I want to do a bunch of lights on the outside and put them all to just one breaker.
Okay. Yeah.
And once you deal with stuff in the breaker box, I'm not about that.
Yeah.
Because there's too much power behind it.
Well, yeah, that's the only thing I've done in a breaker is just change a breaker.
Yeah.
Like I'm confident about that as long as you have a multimeter and you know that you have in fact turned off all the power.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, it's pretty easy to do.
Yeah, you can turn off the main,
Yeah.
which kills all the breakers.
Yeah. But it gets, it's a lot of power you're dealing with there.
Yeah.
So.
I'm good with hiring an electrician to
Yeah.
take care of that part.
Yeah.
So what's next on your list? Have you gotten your deck finished?
No.
That's the project that you've been working on.
Yeah. So I guess, I'm not really sure what the contributing factor is. It's just lots of different things that have been going on that we just sort of put it off.
Mm-hmm.
But and part of it's been the weather.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But and I think one thing we were kind of postponing a little bit is because Ashley was looking for a job.
Yeah.
She got one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So and I was working on a couple of. I mean, there's always something to do. I was working on a smaller project, which was the table that
The coffee table. That's right.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not.
It's not the coffee table.
It's going to be an outside table.
Okay.
That I guess you could put coffee on.
I thought you were. Were you practicing for the coffee table?
This is mostly a practice, yeah, because I took all those pieces of wood and glued them together.
Yeah, it was a crazy design.
Mm-hmm.
Which you called it something specific.
Tessellation.
Tessellation.
Yep. It's looking good.
I took a bunch of scrap pieces from my neighbor. She had a new deck built. Family came over and built a deck. There were a bunch of pieces left over, bunch of little pieces, triangles and whatnot. Because instead of buying those pre-made, like fabricated that you're supposed to make stairs out of, they just took like a 2x8 or 2x10 or something like that and just cut into it for steps, and then all the extra pieces were left out by the road. And I was like, hey, can I have those? And they're like, yeah, sure, why not?
So anyway, I've decided to fashion them into a table. And so I'm making just kind of what they call a tessellation. Just making something like that. So this piece slides into this, and there's an identical piece like this. It slides on that side. Of course, that kind of, like when you envision it, kind of looks like a heart shape, but there's more stuff, like a couple more on this side and on this side. So it's gonna be kind of squarish once I get all the pieces together, and then I'll probably either I'll probably square it off in some way. But anyway, I'm about to plane it. I glued these pieces together, and I left them separate because all together it's not going to fit through my planer there. So I'll do it in individual pieces, plane it out, make it smooth, and then see how it fits together like that. And here it is so far, planed. It'll be put together. It'll be put together eventually, but it's looking pretty good.
So that's all I have for today.
Cool.
If you want anything else?
I don't have anything. We can go. I don't know if this is just a video or podcast or whatever, but I've got a slab that I've just poured.
Okay.
So we can kind of, I don't know, I can show you the slab, and anyone can make comments on it.
All right.
Hey, that looks really good. So how long does it take to dry?
Yeah, probably a few days for this to go.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened was, so this original patio ended right here,
Yes.
and now this is going to be basically an outdoor kitchen.
Oh, okay.
And this is what I'm going to work on this weekend, is have basically all of this be 3-sided countertops.
Oh, okay.
And grill's going to be there. Going to have a little refrigerator and a little smoking area.
Mm-hmm.
And then over here, I added a drain line and a water line. So this is PEX coming in, and this is coming in from around the corner, which is where the faucet is.
Yeah.
And then I got a drain line here. So this is going to be another little station with a sink.
Oh, cool.
So it's just going to be like outside faucet, water with a sink and drain here. And this drain is actually going to come out here and around to the French drain.
Oh, that's
so
nice.
It's going to go out
Yeah.
with the rainwater. Yeah. So it does have rebar in the middle of this,
Mm-hmm.
which is something that everybody said you needed. It's about 4 inches deep in most parts. Some of it I couldn't dig that deep because we live on rocks.
Yeah.
And it was either like jackhammer it up or just be like, well, rocks is that's.
I mean, that's pretty stable.
Yeah, that's not gonna work. It's got rebar under it, and it was like 11 o'clock at night trying to get this level,
Ooh.
which was kind of tough. So it's not crazy level. So if you want a patio that is crazy level, I would hire professionals, because the smoothness of this versus the smoothness of what I did is completely different. But that's okay, because eventually we are going to put brick pavers on top of it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So there's going to be
I was going to say, you're probably going to put something over it
there's
anyway.
going to be a top coat on it.
Yeah.
So that'll be a little later. So this doesn't have to be just crazy pretty.
Yeah.
And somebody's probably going to get me with not leaving a seam right there to help with cracks. And there's probably needs to be another one somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what they call that. Something for when it settles, there's already a crack in there so it doesn't crack the slab itself.
Yeah. Similar with wood, I guess, right? Well,
I don't know. What do you mean? No.
I mean, no. I mean, I what I'm thinking, I guess, is ships. When the
Oh, with the wood like expands.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is more of a settling, but I guess I don't know, something like that. One thing that I did see when you do a concrete slab like this is you're not supposed to. So it stormed last night, and I had a tarp to cover it to keep from crazy water getting on it. But you are supposed to spray it every day and keep it. I guess, I don't know, it's supposed to, so when it dries out, it doesn't cure for like multiple days, even if it's good to do whatever after 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
It still takes a week or more to actually cure all the way through.
Yeah.
And so you're supposed to keep it damp to kind of regulate the moisture and everything in there so it seals deeper or stronger or something like that.
Yeah.
That was from Bob Vila.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, was this just like a bag of quick mix you got or something, or?
I used 62 80-pound bags of Quickcrete on this.
62?
Yes.
Wow.
You can see the
Oh, okay. Dude.
the bags are still out there.
Yeah.
Pulled them up. Because it stormed almost all day yesterday.
Yeah.
Haven't been able to clean it up. But yeah, there was a lot. And I rented a mixer from Home Depot that helped mix all of them.
Okay.
Which is very handy.
Yeah.
Yeah. A big drum. You basically just had a 5-gallon bucket and poured water in there and then put the concrete mix in there and then turned it on and it just mixed it like it's supposed to. And it dumps. It had wheels on it so I could carry it wherever I wanted to.
That's cool.
And just dump it and go on with it. So yeah, it was well worth it.
Nice.
Short of mixing like 1 or 2 bags in a wheelbarrow at a time, which is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is what I've been doing and will be doing this weekend.
Groovy.
Thanks again for watching and listening, ladies and gentlemen. Don't knock out that wall on YouTube. I think, yeah, because that's our email address. Don't knock out that wall at gmail.com. If you have a clip you want to share, if you have a question, if you have a critique, if you just want to say hi, we're available. We speak English. And I'm learning German. So if you want to say Guten Tag, how do you fix my house in German?
Yeah. We could probably translate it.
We could. We do have Google at our fingertips. I'll just cut and paste. DKOTWALL on Instagram and Twitter. Hit us up on that. We'll be posting pictures of our projects and things like that on our social media. So that's another way to reach us. Let's see. That's the dealio. Am I leaving anything out?
I like it.
Yeah.
We're out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By now, if you're listening or watching, you know where to find us. But if you have a friend that's interested in the podcast, the audio podcast is on pretty much any format you can find. And if we're not on there, let us know. And I may have overlooked it. I doubt it. We got most of them. So, yeah. Again, thank you all. And we'll sign off like we normally do with our most valuable piece of advice, the titular line of the show, the most important piece of information you will ever need to know. And that is, please don't knock out that wall. Don't do it.
You'll have to go in your backyard and find a tree stump.
Yeah, you'll have to prop up your wall if you knock out that wall. All right.
Don't